We're making sure that we're not obligated to the inmate, that we're not dependent on the inmate. But that's why we're put in this position. We have to be better than them. Because if we don't respect ourselves, we can't expect the public to. How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Gangi, host of Tear Talk. Hey guys, as we come close to the end of the year, we got about 2 months left. I've wrapped up all my college trips. You know, basically I speak at a lot of colleges. So in particular this year we did Rutgers, Seton Hall, and Monroe College up in New York. And I'm very impressed with the questions that are being asked. And I think it really does promote the evolution of the education that these students are getting. Enough so where I may want to have some of these students on the show. You know, maybe we can do a live show where they ask questions and we go ahead as a community and answer those questions. I think that'd be very interesting because you never know who that student's going to be, what impact they're going to have. I also recently had to help 2 high school students out of California with their paper. And again, the questions were so informed. But when we come back from our sponsor, I also want to mention something that she said that I thought was unique. I thought it's something that we don't usually get. And that's kind of what's motivating me to do this vlog today. So when we come back from our sponsor, I want to talk about my recent trips. I want to talk about some of the questions that they're asking, some of the questions that they're interested in, but also the perspective. The perspective that they have may not be what we think it is. And again, that deals with the evolution of where we're at when it comes to educating people in the criminal justice profession. Things are changing. As always, guys, please, if you haven't, subscribe, interact, engage, comment, hit that bell. That bell's going to notify you every time I post up a video because this show, Tear Talks, for you brave men and women that work in corrections. So the more subscribers, the more engagements, the more comments, it helps me move in the algorithm. So again, it's a free like, and I appreciate everything you guys do for me. Just trying to get to that 100,000, so I got to kind of speed up a little bit. And when we come back from our sponsors, we're going to be discussing my trips to the different schools and the perspective. It's a different perspective. All right, guys, stand by for our sponsor.
I wanted to attend a university that had an intelligence program. I wanted to look at problems different. I wanted to increase my critical thinking abilities. AMU offered those avenues to expand. Obtaining your degree as an adult, you're actually paying yourself and investing in yourself. You can't put a dollar on it, it's priceless. It's something that can never be taken away from you.
American Military University. Learn from the leader.
Hey guys, before we start the show, I just want to thank Brian Tyfisher and Jackson Martin. Thank you for supporting Tear Talk. Check out these hats, guys. You guys are looking good. Also, guys, thank you for the work that you do. Thank you. It's a sacrifice that you guys make every day, and us at Tear Talk, and I'm sure the community, as well as the public, appreciates that sacrifice. Thank you guys for listening to our sponsor. You know, guys, if ever you're given the chance to speak at a college, to speak in front of students, you need to. I mean, I do this every year. I try to do a vlog right after that. You have to speak, because that's a chance for you to shape the future. It's a chance for you to have an impact. And these students need to hear from people with experience. So we don't know if we're always going to have those opportunities. So if by chance they come your way, you should embrace it. Even if it's just one student in the class, it really doesn't matter. The point is, that is tomorrow. That student is going to be a reflection of what's to come. So it's good that they get stuff from us and not just the book. Again, there's a way we can balance things. But you need somebody with experience to talk to these students. You know, in today's day and age, the students are more informed. They could just get more information on their fingertip than we ever could. So their questions they're great. I mean, they even make me think. And I've been in the profession for almost 18 years. So these are questions that they're researched, you know, but they're curious. That's the key. And because they're curious and they really haven't made a decision of which route they may want to go, you have an experience can mold part of that. You know, especially if they buy into what you're saying, which they should, because you're speaking the truth. You know, the book may say this, but I work in this profession and I'm saying this. And they should feel that. They should feel that coming from you. You know, the 2 high school students that I was talking about recently, they had found me through an article that I did on solitary confinement, which is obviously a very controversial issue. And she said something that was key right at the very beginning. So she FaceTimed me from California. There's 2 students. And before she asked the question, this is what she said. When she was given this assignment, she actually wanted to interview somebody that's in the field because she feels that they're not heard. And I'm like, oh my God, I do a whole show on that. You're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. And that opened up to the dialogue. And of course, it was solitary confinement, dealing with mentally ill inmates, the whole gamut. And I was given very fair and objective answers to try to balance things out. But the cool thing here is that these were answers she never heard before. They never heard before. So you can kind of see where, at her point, where they were limited in the knowledge that they were getting. And again, you know, maybe they're being taught by someone that doesn't work the profession, and therefore they're probably getting stuff from the media. So this was a great way to balance things and say, okay, I know you've been taught this, but let me tell you reality. Let me tell you how it really works. And they were taken aback by that. You know, when I was at Rutgers, we were talking about transgender inmates. And great dialogue, because of course the concern here is, should they pre-op, let's say they haven't gone through the operation, so they still have, let's say, the male component, should they go to a female facility? And that was a great question. And a majority of the students had said no. They felt that they needed to remain at a male facility. But again, making sure at all times that their safety and security is always paramount. So we're not minimizing that. But they felt that you also have the rights of the females who could be sacrificed for the rights of the one transgender. And I'm like, wow, these are the students here, guys. So they picked up on something that we do in our profession all the time, is that we focus on the rights of the many when sometimes the public may focus on the rights of the one. And in our line of work, if the rights of the one can adversely affect the rights of the many, we have to address that issue. And the students were on point with that. They knew that. You know, it's like that defines our profession. We're always looking for that wolf amongst the sheep. And they understood that perspective. They understood that sometimes in order to protect the many, I don't want to say you have to sacrifice the one, but we understand what we're talking about here, you know? So their concern was taking that transgender in a female facility. What happens to the rights of the females? And I was like, wow. I can't wait to see what you guys do in the future. Very impressed. You know, when I talk to the students, I always make sure that they know that the cool thing about having this interaction is that when you go ahead and create laws, you could recall on meeting people with experience and trying to see how a law in good intent can be misused. I mean, that's the key. I mean, we talked about laws like PREA and, you know, some actions to rid, I hate the word solitary confinement, but obviously that's the term that's used, and why it's needed. And then as for PREA, how it can be misused. You know, so when you create these laws, you have to find a balance between the good intent, but then people that are going to utilize that good intent for nefarious reasons. And that's where laws become very hard to create, because of the fact that you have to worry about that middle road, where most of these laws, they're kind of like one-sided, and we wind up scrambling because we have to regulate those that choose to misuse the laws that are really based on good intent. But when you introduce these laws into our world, you have to be aware that they're going to be misused. And the students were like, they agree. You know, if they want to pass laws, they want to pass laws that are beneficial for both staff as well as population, but ultimately for the public, for the safety and security of the public. But you're looking at balanced laws. And it was great to be able to mention that to them and introduce them to that. But again, it's like they know it already. And part of that is also from the people that are speaking at these schools, the college professors or the ones they bring in. I mean, guys, Monroe was Connie Eileen. has a lot of experience working in corrections on the civilian side of things, but very objective and balanced in how she teaches and also in her career. My boy Giuseppe Fazzaria from Seton Hall, I mean, we're buddies. He understands me like you wouldn't believe now. He has some experience working in the criminal justice system. We may have some different perspectives, but we have a respect for each other. We really do. And I think that respect carries off even if we don't agree. And that's how we learn. Respect the other perspective and then build from there. See where you can find that common ground. Louis Soto teaches Rutgers. He has experience. He's a retired major. So now these students are getting experienced teachers coming into the classroom teaching about the profession. That's like the evolution of education, guys. Experience teaching. That's the evolution. That's where we need to be. It's not just about the books. It's about who has experience, who's able to walk the walk, who's able to go beyond the PowerPoint. And I saw that. And you see the reflection of experienced teachers in the eyes of the students, because their questions are so informed and they're open to hear both sides. I mean, just the fact that they know that there's another side that goes to show you something. Because when you walk in, it says, like the high school student telling me, hey, I get enough from the books. I'm more curious now to hear your perspective because I don't think it's heard. It's like, oh my God, that's excellent. Now, she may have taken the initiative on that, but still, it humbles me and it motivates me to, again, what do you want to know? How can I help you? You know, and see if I can have some impact into whatever she decides to do later on. Maybe she decides to, you know, push for that criminal justice profession. You know, there's a student that I was very impressed with at Rutgers who's actually majoring in criminal justice and political science, a mixture of both. Wish I could get her to stay away from politics, but you know, maybe she wants to have an impact in creating those laws. And after the class was done at Rutgers, she stuck with me for about 20 or 30 minutes, asked me some very good questions. Gangi, I know you started your career in a female facility. How was that like transitioning to a male facility? What really is solitary confinement? Of course, I don't like the term. I say more restrictive housing. But the questions were not cookie cutter questions, and it gave me a chance to really look back and think. Again, have you ever had a positive influence on an inmate? Let's think about it. Can custody and civilians work together? They need to, and I'm working on that. But that's another great question. So you know that's experience talking. Someone that has experience is definitely leading the way in shaping or molding who this young lady is, because these questions are so well thought. I mean, the fact that you're not in this profession, you know that there may be a divide between those that rehabilitate and those that provide safety and security. And I like to think there's not, and we're trying to work on fixing that, but there is. And again, that divide comes from one side feeling that they're not being heard. I'm telling you something, if laws came out that were more balanced, you would see a more cohesive unit between civilians and custody. But again, those questions were phenomenal. I had fun answering them. And what I was thinking about doing is maybe having her come on the show. If you guys are interested, that would be great. You know, she would ask us the questions, we would interact, I would interact with her, and then we would go ahead and throw the questions over to you guys to see if you can answer a question. So basically, here's the cool thing, guys. I'll get a bunch of students to kind of come on, or a student to come on, and that will kind of give you the chance to be in the classroom, technically. So you can comment and give your thoughts, and we can kind of give them our perspective, what we do, and then create even a bigger impact. So it's not always about today, it's about tomorrow as well. And I think that's a phenomenal idea. I really do. I think it would be great to have them on the show and then see what questions they have and see how quick we are to answer those. And maybe, guys, if it works out and we have more of these type shows, then you guys can even come on the venue. You know, we could figure a way to do a video live, and I'll have you guys come on and we can actually have the dialogue live right there. But for the meantime, we could always do the comments and read off the comments. But what are your thoughts on that? You think that'd be a good idea? Would you guys like to maybe answer some questions from some college students? You know, I think it's a great opportunity. I love it, and I would like to share that. And if you guys are interested in that, I'll call these professors, and we'll find a way to make it happen. Maybe I'll do something right in front of the class. They'll ask a question, and then we'll go ahead and find a way to, you know, again, get the question to you guys, which will be on the live feed, and then see what the comments come out, and then I'll read the comments off, and then we'll kind of moderate a dialogue. I think that would be pretty fun. But I'd love your thoughts on that. As always, guys, the show is Tear Talk. If you haven't, please subscribe, interact, engage, comment, hit that bell. The bell's going to notify you every time I post a video. Stay safe.
Monroe.